For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on your favorite podcast app. Or if you just Googled Jackass on the radio, I probably came up. Anyway, we've got a lot to talk about on the show today because we've got a celebrity guest. Gary Busey will be joining us in a few minutes, and you never know. This is the thing. We've had him on the radio shows. When you get Gary live, you never know what's going to happen. You pull the string, and you just sit back. So it's going to be a good time, I can guarantee that. And so that's fun and games, but when it comes to Ellen DeGeneres... Dun, dun, dun. You've heard about the scandal that's dogging her and potentially costing her her daytime show. I have some thoughts about that, being an entertainment reporter for years, having some inside information for, what's apparently not a secret in the entertainment business, but now I guess the public is only now hearing about it. My thoughts and why I have not liked Ellen DeGeneres for many years. It's all on the podcast, and it starts right now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. All right, let's talk Ellen DeGeneres for a second here. Isn't it remarkable how there can be so much going on behind the scenes that suddenly with like the snap of a finger, you look at a celebrity a different way? Now, full disclosure, as an entertainment reporter, I have heard the stories for years that Ellen is a bitch, that she's rude, that, that she's got her little inner circle at the show and that's about it. The rest of the people are peons. They can't look at her. That's been widely known to people in the industry. So that's not news to me. But it reminds me of people like Matt Lauer. You remember that scandal when all of a sudden he was just gone, fired, done, and then you realize all these things were happening behind the scenes. Same kind of thing for Ellen, right? She's, she's the queen of nice. She's be kind. That's her, her philosophy at the end of every show. And then you realize that there's these reports. Now, here's the thing. If it's one person with an axe to grind coming forward and making these claims, okay, you kind of, you look, was this person fired? Do they have some sort of, bitterness towards the situation? And then you make your assessment that way. When there's reports now, and we're talking like dozens of people have come forward, and I would expect that, some of these are reputable outlets that have been asking around and doing the digging. So I would expect that they have, individually reached out to people, maybe asked the same questions to see if points match up. That's what an investigative journalist would do. I mean, I can't speak to now that the whole industry of journalism has been pissed on by bloggers and things like that. I can't make any claims that that's in fact how they went ahead with the investigation. But certainly I would ask. I wouldn't, make it widely known to those people that I was asking others. I would maybe just tell them, hey, I'm only asking you, what can you tell me? And then, I wouldn't pick people that they necessarily know or even mention, because then there could be that whole, oh, hey, this guy Jeremy just called me about da-da-da-da, right? You do a random sampling of things. And if the stories sort of match up, then you don't take it with a grain of salt at that point. I mean, you investigate it anyway. If somebody comes forward and says, I was sexually harassed at the office, obviously internally you do your due diligence, as they say, and you investigate, right? To me, this seems, too coincidental that all these people would come forward after all this time. And so, So to me, now, again, here's the thing. I've never met Ellen. I know that we have invited her onto our syndicated radio shows many, many times over the years. We've wanted to talk about, pets and things like that. We've been shot down every time. Now, again, I don't have an axe to grind because, quite honestly, I mean, realistically, we're shot down by who knows how many celebrities on a daily basis when we reach out. And that's also, again, just the nature of it, right? She would maybe do Entertainment Tonight or something affiliated with the show or Warner Brothers or whatever it is. But, the little guy isn't necessarily going to get, interviews with people like Oprah and Ellen. And I realize that. We try anyway, but whatever. And I don't take it personally. So yes, we've attempted to have her on the show, not because I love her and I'm a fan and oh my God, she's incredible. That's sort of been the reputation that her show has, right? That she's always doing nice things for people. It's charitable. Well, at the same time, who wouldn't want that persona? Who wouldn't, if that's going to get people talking and ratings and have viral videos and things like that, of course you're going to do crap like that, right? So for years, this is my thought, for years I have not liked Ellen. And let me tell you why. Back in the day, I used to watch her television show, her sitcom, Ellen, and before that it was called These Friends of Mine. People don't realize that or remember that. And then there was The Ellen Show, a sitcom that I think lasted for maybe 1 year. This was after she was canceled for coming out on ABC in that one episode. And then I have her CD called Taste This. I remember having the screensaver on my computer because it had little Ellen heads bouncing around. And she says things like, shouldn't you be working and doing all these things? And my family absolutely hated that screensaver when it would come on, but I would always change it back to do that. I had her DVD, Here and Now I think is what it's called. I don't know how many times I would take my laptop into the bathroom at my parents' house, and I would be in the bathtub, and I would have the DVD playing, and I'd be watching and laughing. This was back when I would, the summer nights, channeling Grease there, it would be the summer nights when I had the house to myself, and I was a teenager, and, couldn't really, I couldn't go to the bar and things like that, so I was home alone. It was novelty of, being on my own. That's how I would relax and unwind. I'd bring a DVD into the bathroom and watch it in the tub. So I would watch that, I think, like every Saturday for I don't know how many weekends in the summer when I was growing up. So big fan of Ellen, supported her, bought her products and things like that. Something about the TV show, the talk show, just didn't rub me the right way. I just didn't, because you've got this comedian who's from Louisiana who kind of just has these sort of funny little anecdotes and stories that she tells about, being this comedian and just this normal woman. And then there's something to see the exchange with celebrities on the show that I don't get the vibe that they're friends. I think that people come on there because the Ellen Show is fun, and I'm going to have a fun time, and she's funny. But I don't see any of them wanting to be buddy-buddy with her. Like, there just seems to be sort of that, there's like a invisible barrier between her and the celebrity guest. And so I think that's kind of where it is. Like, it doesn't seem genuine to me. It never did. Because, again, when you've seen her struggle, you've seen her pretty much, almost lose everything when she came out and lost the ABC sitcom, right? Her life, as she says, was in a shambles. Yes, I applaud people that have success. I know that, money can go to your head and fame and success go to your head, but it's sad when you hear these stories. And last week I was going back and forth with somebody on Twitter about how, celebrities have an attitude. It's no different than if you win an award at work, you sort of get an ego about yourself, or you have a best-selling book and suddenly you're now, the best, and it's common for people. But there was always something about it where, like, if you look at it back in the day, she would, dance through the audience and be more interactive with people. And now, again, even now to see the show, it's kind of like she comes out, she goes to the stage, and there's just still that something in between. And so that's why I haven't liked Ellen for many years. When I go to my parents' house, sometimes I'll walk the dogs there in the afternoon, and they'll have Ellen on. And, my dad will just talk about all these segments. And I remember when Sam Smith was just coming out on the scene, and he performed on the show, and my dad's like, have you heard of this guy? Dad, I host a radio show, a top 40 radio show. We play his music. I've heard of him. Oh, yeah, and then Ellen said this. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, so there are people, and I have another colleague, too, who, she works in a different office. She's not on our staff, but, her dream is to meet Ellen. She wants to go to the Ellen Show. She wants to this. And it's funny, though, because I always kind of just shake my head. I don't really ever go into stories about things like that, because in this industry, in entertainment reporting, and, I've done red carpets, I'm in Los Angeles all the time. It's, if you had to tell every story about, every celebrity that was like that, I mean, I'd be ruining it for everybody. You wouldn't watch any TV show. You wouldn't be, you know. And I'm reminded of America's Got and again, I've been on many, many red carpets, but at the America's Got Talent, one of my first red carpets that I was on, this is going back to, I would say at least 10 years ago. For the first time, I kind of saw a true diva in action. I'm not going to name the celebrity, but there was absolutely a celebrity there who was a music legend. I'll use the term diva, so I guess when you go and say it like that, that almost excuses the behavior. It almost sort of allows it. You give them a pass. You hear this about, Whitney Houston. You hear this about Aretha Franklin. That kind of once you've reached that status, then you can be, all commanding and like that. But there was this music star, and again, yes, she's absolutely legendary. She had one person carrying her shoes. Now, this is not even a red carpet like the Oscars where you're traveling, 200 yards. The America's Got Talent red carpet was, at best, 10 yards. Like, it wasn't like you had to go through hundreds and hundreds of people. It was a very small red carpet. Somebody carried her shoes. Somebody held her water bottle for her. Somebody was there to adjust her wig that she was wearing. Now, here's the deal. Now, that's not to say that makes you a bitch, okay? I'm not saying that having, an entourage and a staff, take care of you and follow you around. But here's the thing. You do need to look at that as demeaning to those people. Yes, they might be staff, and they're happy to do the job because they're getting paid and what have you, and that's what they signed up for. But you need to look at it in the grand scheme of things. You're a grown human being. You're a grown-ass human being. Yes, you might be famous, you might be rich, you might be a legend, you might be whatever, adjectives we can throw at you. The fact is, you are still making somebody carry your shoes and hold a water bottle for you, and your makeup case, and there's one person there carrying your shoes. Think about that. Now, these are not pictures that the everyday person, you would not see these pictures from a red carpet just because that's not the glam shot. The glam shot is the celebrity standing in front of the backdrop. Now, because I was there, and this is one of my first red carpets, as I said, I was taking pictures of everything. I was just, I took pictures of the reporters on the red carpet, the backdrop, me on the backdrop, the tent that we were going into to watch the show. I had pictures of everything. And I remember seeing this, so I did snap a picture of the woman who was the shoe carrier, the shoe caddy, I guess you'd call them. And it floored me because you hear those stories, right? You hear about diva antics like that, and so I was witnessing it for the first time. So yeah, you might not be a bitch because you have somebody doing that, but just think how degrading that is. How lowly you view that person. Sure, they might be your assistant that you live and breathe, and they're your right hand, and you can't get through the day without them. But the bottom line is they are still carrying around the shoes that you sweat in, that your bunions are rubbing up against, that smell, that whatever it is. So maybe in a roundabout way, you are kind of a bitch. You are kind of, because you can't carry your own shoes. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not making it seem like she was walking down the red carpet holding her shoes as she's talking to reporters. This is as she's coming to the red carpet, somebody, plops down her shoes. So, yeah, I'm not saying that absolutely she should be holding her shoes as I'm interviewing her. No, I wouldn't expect that. I'd expect that she's wearing shoes. We were outdoors. But, so think about it that way. She might be nice to her staff, but the chores that you have them doing, the tasks, I think it's demeaning to have somebody carry your shoes for you. It's like they're not heavy. We're not talking about, steel-toed boots or something that this, elderly, frail woman can't carry. Somebody's carrying your shoes for you. So, so back to this Ellen thing, she's not accused in the scandal, like I said, of the wrongdoing, which includes, discrimination and sexual harassment and, everything else under the sun. But there's kind of that second scandal brewing, or that other side story, the second plot, if you will, that kind of goes and says, well, you know what, she would have known about this, and her apology to staff last week also kind of wasn't really didn't seem all that heartfelt, because from what I'm understanding, staff there, and I do know two people that work on the staff just kind of rolled their eyes and is like, yeah, she's doing this for PR. You've got to cover your ass and make it look like you didn't. Oh, I'm shocked. I tell you that I didn't know that this was happening. I can't believe it. Under my roof, we are going to get this fixed up. And now we hear that, she doesn't even want to do the show anymore. That there's no recovering from this. And I don't see how you could. I really don't see it. Now, again, just since the scandal broke last week or a week and a half or whatever it was ago, I know of at least 3 or 4 people. Now again, random sampling, a small figure relatively. 3 or 4 people who say, "Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm not going to watch the show now that I know this about her." I went for dinner with my parents last weekend, and my dad. Everybody always asks me, "Hey, did you hear about Ellen and what's going on?" Well, of course, Dad. But do you know what? My job. Yes, I did. And so even my mom was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to watch it anymore." So, it does stink, and it stinks from the top, or it rots. What is the saying? The fish rots from the head, or something like that, and Ellen is the head, or something, the top down. I don't know. But certainly it'll be interesting that if the show does return next season, what exactly is going to be addressed on that first episode. And if it's not, there's reports that James Corden is going to step in and fill the shoes. That there's, tabloid reports of that happening. So it'll be interesting to see. But how the mighty fall, and how they fall hard nowadays thanks to cancel culture. Send me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
When I heard that Gary Busey was launching a new podcast, I said we have to get him on the show to talk about it. And he's on the phone right now. Hi, Gary Busey.
Hello, everybody. And how are you? I love you. And everybody stay happy.
Well, how are you? That's always the most important question. You just had a birthday recently. Happy birthday.
I've been around the sun 76 times. And I'm great. I have an incredible family. That's the thing. Family and health. Those are the most important things in your life. How to care and protect and take care of yourself so you can care and protect and take care of others.
How did you celebrate this year? This year's a little bit different than most, I imagine.
No, every birthday is like the same. They just come on different days, different weather, and different kind of celebrations. And this is beautiful. You must look at your birthday as the most important day of your life. It happens one day a year. And no matter what happens on your birthday, it's good because it's your birthday. And even if you think you don't have a good birthday, wait a little bit and you'll figure out you got what you deserve because you've earned it.
Absolutely. The fact that you've lived to another birthday is always a great sign, isn't it?
That's a great sign, yeah. I've been around the sun 75 times. I'm now on my 76th rotation around the star that God created that became our sun. S-U-N.
Now, where do you find the energy? At that age, you are probably one of the busiest people I know, and you just keep going.
I can't help it. It's something I was given at birth. There's a high energy rate I do have. It really is high. It's been high all my life. Now I've learned to contain it, move it within, and let my energy not be so extroverted, but better inside, caring for other people first before I think of what I need. What do I need? I need this. Forget that. What do they need? What does your significant other need? What does your children need? They come first in my life now because they're first. I'm first in their life. Only if I treat them first in my life.
Right.
Right, honey?
In my life, my pets are quite a priority in my life, and when I heard that you were becoming a pet judge on Amazon Prime, I thought, you know what? The pets need justice from Gary Busey.
Listen, there's nothing like that show. And I got to call Jack Vaughn and see more. But anyway, I want to do more because I don't have a script. I get the plaintiff's situation and the defender's situation, and then I listen to them and significantly see what the best judgment is from my heart, not from the law.
The show is called Gary Busey Pet Judge. It looks like a pretty fun job.
Yeah. Well, you know what law stands for, LAW?
What does it stand for?
Losers and winners.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
real simple. But in my courtroom, everybody wins.
Do you have...
It's great. It's funny. It's unpredictable. It's hilarious. I mean, I'm dealing with monkeys and dogs and parrots and a dead Tabitha cat that wants to be buried in the Viking funeral. And something else is new called Uncle Drank, the totally hammered podcast. It's about a country singer that hang on a minute, I'm right with you. His favorite words are worshiping the 7 B's. A-B-B. Bars, birds, beaches, boats, beers, babes, and bananas. And his favorite drink is vodka, a little bit of tequila, kerosene, and a clam. And he says, let's pound some clams. That's what that means, get that drink going. I'm doing it with my buddy from the beginning of his show business career, Mr. Dennis Quaid.
Yes, another legend, and he plays Blendy, your cohort on the show.
Yeah, he is playing Blendy the Blender, and I am the lovable, drunk, and the free-spirited beast musician. That's me. Wait, hey, what do you think about this? Have a surfboard made that looks just like a guitar. Because he loves surfing. He's a beach guy.
I didn't realize that you're such a musically talented person. When you were on the show with us last time, you sang to me, and so this podcast is quite musical.
Yeah, I'm very musical. I was in the 5th grade when rock and roll started to be played on the airwaves of the radio. And one of Uncle Drank's best songs is Job at Happy Hour.
And the first track from the show is Kickstart My Heart.
Yeah, kickstart my heart. I said that. Kickstart my heart. I made a little fart.
Tell me what it's like teaming up with Dennis Quaid on a project like this. I imagine you guys have a lot of laughs.
It's natural. It's meant to be. It's kindred spirits, Brotherhood of Harris County, Texas. I was born in Goose Creek, Texas. He's born in Houston, and they're in the same county down south, just above Galveston on the Gulf of Mexico.
And I know you've got some great memories from Canada, my home country.
Yeah, I do. I've made a lot of films in Vancouver, one in Calgary, Winnipeg, and Toronto.
That's right. You were
I love Canada.
Yeah, you made a movie, you said, in Winnipeg, my hometown.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of great things. Gary Yates, Y-A-T-E-S, was the director, and it was a lovely experience. And you know how Winnie the Pooh became about?
Yeah, I know the story, but feel free to tell everybody else.
Well, Winnie the Pooh was a bear that was in Winnipeg with the soldiers. And they nicknamed it Winnie the Pooh because it was their mascot. And then a beautiful lady came in and wrote about the 100-acre blessed tree forest with Piglet, Eeyore, Tigger, and my son, who's now 49, used to call me Tigger when he was young because Tigger was up in the tree, but didn't know how to get down.
Right. And yes, there's actually, I'm here, yeah, there's a Winnie the Pooh statue at the zoo in the city as well.
How big is the statue, and does it have a barrel of honey with it?
He's a cute little bear cub. There's no barrel of honey, though, but it's a nice statue.
That's great.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Yay, Winnie the Pooh.
And I know...
That's a great book.
It is, and your books are great, too. The Buseyisms, I can't get enough of them, Gary.
What?
I can't get enough of your
Oh, that's
Buseyisms.
great. I'm glad you can get enough. You know what the Buseyism for the word fart?
What is it?
F-A-R-T stands for feeling erectile transmission. Here's one for you. Anger. A-N-G-E-R. Another negative grievance explaining rage.
That's...
Here's one for you. Chaos. Chaos stands for critical hate and overwhelming stupidity.
Oh, they're words of wisdom, Gary. I'm amazed by your talents. I really am.
Have you got the book yet?
I do have it. Yes, I'll have to send it for you to sign it for me.
Need information on how to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get your information on your mailing thing, and I'll sign and send it. Here's one you like. Freedom. F-R-E-E-D-O-M. Facing real, exciting energy, developing out of miracles. Because the miracle that you are, you were born as a miracle. You are still a miracle, and miracles will give you a face and a life of freedom you've never experienced.
How did you come up with doing these, Gary? You've been doing them for so many years.
I can understand you.
Did you come up with doing them?
Oh, you know what? When I had a motorcycle accident, December 4th, 88, I had brain surgery, and then I passed away and left my body and went to the spiritual realm and the supernatural with angels. And I came back inspired to take the letters to spell words and create a new definition for it. Like the word forgive, F-O-R-G-I-V-E, stands for finding ourselves really giving individuals valuable energy. And valuable energy is unconditional love.
It's great to have such an optimistic and positive view on life after something like that, isn't it?
Well, that's what you get. That's one of the ingredients you get to go with you forever. I know you love this NASCAR, N-A-S-C-A-R. Non-athletic sport centered around rednecks.
So if I just give you a word, can you make one up on the spot?
I don't know. What's the word?
Book.
Being offered on knowledge.
That's pretty good. That's awesome. So we'll be on the lookout for the podcast. And Gary, it was so great to chat with you. I know you're very busy. I appreciate your time.
Oh, we all are, and I love you. I love talking to you. And your editorial power on the radio and in your columns.
Oh, I appreciate your kind words. Thank you so much, Gary.
And I got one for you that you like. It's called Failing, F-A-I-L-I-N-G. Finding an important lesson, inviting needed growth.
And on that note, we will leave it there. The legendary Gary Busey, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Jeremy.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye now.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble, and we're out of time. See, time flies when you're having fun. I knew that was going to happen when Gary Busey stopped by. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. Live at jbonair.com is the email address. Live at jbonair.com. This is The Scribble. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.